Now let's check in with our Matt Gregory. He's at Union Station with a look at protests there. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, so here's what's happening. Listen, in the last couple seconds, we've seen an escalation right now between protesters. Matt, let's go over and show them. It's happening just in front of Columbus Circle. I want to stop talking for a minute. You can hear the chants of "let him go." It sounds like police may have arrested someone. And you're starting to see on the back end of the protest, Park Police pushing in. They had been here marshaling over at Union Station. Now they're pushing in, and it seems like there's a big, Matt, what can you see right there? It looks like there's a clash going on. It doesn't look like it's violent yet. It just looks like a lot of bodies pushing up against each other with Park Police on one end, and you see DC MPD police as well as Park Police kind of coming up against it. We saw them getting ready with their riot helmets and some of their shields. There was a larger group here earlier. In fact, we've been here for the last 10 minutes and it's been dissipating, folks heading back towards Raphael. But right now here at Columbus Circle, right outside of Union Station, that's where we're seeing this sort of impact here between police as well as between protesters. Now, right in the foreground, as Matt's here, you can see bicycle police that appear to be MPD that are circling, getting an idea. And we've watched different units coming in as the sort of security perimeter closes in on Washington, or on Columbus Circle. Another quick note, by the way, Park Police have pulled the permit for the protest that was supposed to be here that they announced just about a half hour ago because there was a flag that was burned here and then some other actions they are now deeming as illegal. We're working to get the latest information. We don't know, by the way, if there was an arrest or there is an arrest going on over there, but on the loudspeakers, we heard the protesters chanting, "Let him go, let him go," over and over again. You heard a fevered pitch of screaming, and even now there's a bit of that going on. It seems like there's a little bit of confusion. I don't see any arrests, no major movements, but like I said, it's the biggest sort of clash we've seen today, sort of bodies pushing up against each other, and right now they all seem to be gathered in this one area in front of those flags right there on Columbus Circle. We're going to move to get closer in a bit, but in the meantime, one of the things I do want to share with you is that, this is all happening today as Prime Minister Netanyahu is here speaking to Congress, and one of the things we were talking to Senator Ben Cardin about earlier, because he was one presiding over this speech, was, what else can be done beyond, just having the Prime Minister speak. This is what Senator Cardin believes could get done today. Take a listen.
Hopefully an opportunity to advance the peace process in the Middle East, to get the hostages released, to find a path forward so that the Palestinians and Israelis can live together in peace. There's been differences between what the Prime Minister Netanyahu wants and what we think is the right path forward.
Hey, so here's what we got here. Sorry, we moved to get closer. There was not enough time in that soundbite to do that. But as you can see, all right, this is what you have. This is the remnants of the protest group that was gathered here at Columbus Circle. They've now all gathered right here on Massachusetts, right in the street. You can hear police coming in on one end. You can see some, on the other end, emergency vehicles coming up. Police are pushing in from outside the Capitol, and there's still a small group of protesters sort of pushing up against police. The police appear to, it's hard to tell from here, to have formed a line pushing back against the protesters, and they're blocking the entrance areas to the Capitol. Hold on, they're chanting something. Let me see what they're saying. Yeah, it looks like set him free still. So listen, this is what we're seeing here, Simone. We're going to keep monitoring this situation, but yeah, as of now, it's really turned into a situation that's the largest kind of clash between police and protesters we've seen since Raphael saw it earlier.
Right, Matt,
back to you.
I wanted to ask you, I know you're at a bit of a distance here. Does it seem like there have been protesters who were pepper sprayed? Because when we zoom into the camera, we can see some people lying on the ground. We saw one person trying to clean their face off. And so I know you're trying to get a vantage here, but for the most part, there's just a lot of yelling going on. We see the police with their shields out. But any indications to you that people have been pepper sprayed there?
I mean, not that I can tell from here, but when Matt got closer, we could kind of see a little bit. We can't guarantee that's what happened, and we'll of course go over there and investigate. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that police said that they did have to do at earlier sort of clashes, where they had to deploy pepper spray. They said, and if you've ever been pepper sprayed, I have, it is very difficult. Lying on the ground, I sympathize with that because it's hard to get out of your eyes. It's a dreadful situation. The best thing I can say is that we're going to get closer, kind of investigate and see exactly what that kind of looks like.
How would you describe this as volatile, mostly under control? What is the tone of the protest that you are at right now?
I mean, so this is the remnants, right? And throughout the day, by the way, we've been following them. They moved from in front of the Capitol through the Capitol neighborhoods. It's never been violent or aggressive. There's obviously your usual spray painting on the Columbus statue right there, and there's been chants and, you know, sometimes aggressive yelling, but no violence at all that I've seen. And in terms of the tenor, whether or not it's been kind of, you know, a push and pull with police, this is the only one we've really seen this way. And as you can see, it's not really escalating. It kind of ramps up, ramps back down, and more police move in. I think that's sort of the subduing approach, is the slow movement of police. They're not actively acting, it looks like right now, from what I can tell. We'll go closer, but from what I can tell, it doesn't look like they're actively acting on the protesters.
All right, we certainly appreciate you bringing us that live perspective. This is something we're going to be checking in with you throughout the show. Thank you. And with this high-profile visit, of course, comes a lot of closures. Right now, we have a full list of those road closures happening this week on our website, WUSA9.com.